healthy, strong, and full of life. But wait, what's that you've got there? It looks like you've got a case of the humans. To be a healthy Earth, all of your elements must be in equilibrium. However, these parasites slaughter all other forms of life. Guzzle your natural resources. And poison your atmosphere. Once contracted, humans act quickly. They multiply over 300,000 a day, consuming anything that crosses their path. Earth is just the start. Who knows what's next?
So that's what the elite think of us when they're really the parasites. Meanwhile, humans are incredible creatures. We make many of the environments we're in better. The planet was born in the radiation bath of the sun with volcanic eruptions. One volcano puts out more toxic waste than all human activity in 100 years if it's a big gaseous Mount St. Helens type explosion. But notice the double think. Oh, it consumes your resources, the human, but you're also a parasite. So it's double think. And we showed you the ABC News out of Australia reporting on how the schools show cartoons teaching kids to commit suicide at age 11 because that's when their carbon footprint runs out. And then Newsweek with the cover story, the case for killing Granny. That's how these sickos are operating. I'm going to come back, go through my notes on all the other latest climate scam fraud news. Jesse Ventura came fully out against the ClimateGate fraud. He's coming up in T-minus 10 minutes. It's not on your local AM and FM, the rebroadcast. You can listen at Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.tv where we archive it. Jesse Ventura at the start of the show. Lord Monckton, hour number 2, even more powerful than the interview we did a couple weeks ago.
Hey everybody, Alex Jones here. If you're looking for the perfect Christmas gift, listen up. This will make your holiday shopping very easy. This year, give a seed bank from one of our oldest sponsors, Solutions from Science, to your friends and family. Here's why. The Survival Seed Bank will give any friend or loved one the ability to grow a full acre crisis garden of nutritionally dense, life-sustaining food. And the Survival Seed Bank is not just a box of open-pollinated seeds. It's an indestructible, waterproof seed bank that can even be buried if we face a real meltdown. And here's the best part. All the seeds in the Survival Seed Bank go through strict germination testing, so you can be confident you're not buying old seeds. Give a Survival Seed Bank this Christmas by going to survivalseedbank.com. That's survivalseedbank.com. Or you can call 877-327-0365 to give the gift that produces an ongoing supply of life-sustaining food. Hundreds of nations have fallen to tyranny in the last century alone. This is our last chance to not relive history.
As we're finishing off this agenda, they'll be pulling the rug from underneath Americans at home.
I have tremendous influence on our president and Congress, and they really are calling the shots.
I think it's incumbent upon all of us as American citizens to pay attention.
Fall of the Republic identifies the enemies of our nation, the criminal offshore cartel, hell-bent on destroying sovereignty, and on its ashes constructing world government.
Tim Geithner, Bernanke, they're arsonists. They're asking for more matches. And the Congress is saying, who do we make the check out to?
Today seems like nobody does care. And right now in Washington, D.C., we have seen a fall of the Republic.
Get your copy of Fall of the Republic on DVD at Infowars.com or watch it online right now in super high quality at PrisonPlanet.tv.
America is in deep, deep trouble because we don't know our rights. Let's get real freedom back into America by teaching and promoting the Bill of Rights with the 2010 Freedom Calendar. Why? Because our forefathers gave them to us. Because the Freedom Calendar is true patriotism in action. And because if you don't know your rights and use them, you may lose them. The Freedom Calendar is the best educational tool in over 200 years. It shows in detail how to use your rights, how to answer any bureaucrat, how to use your guaranteed rights for true freedom. The Freedom Calendar is the easy way to learn the proper use and function of each of our rights and is perfect for homeschoolers, business promotions, and fundraisers. Order your Freedom Calendar now for just $15, and discounts are available for bulk orders. Call 651-771-5234. Again, 651-771-5234. The Freedom Calendar. Know your rights or lose them. Order now while supplies last. Call 651-771-5234.
Oh, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we are back live. Final segment. The good news is UN climate chief. Oh, the global government will control our climate. First, it was global freezing, covered a Newsweek 1977, telling you that the whole earth was going to freeze. Forbes has got an article about that if you didn't pay them carbon taxes. Then in the 90s, and it was global warming. Now suddenly it's climate change. You can't have change in the climate. We're on a planetoid going through space. The sun is the main driver. And I know most of you understand that, but we've got to get out there to the young people and others that have been taught it's so trendy to be slaves. It's so trendy to be taxed more to drive your car and be tracked. It's so trendy to have home inspectors in your house. It's so trendy to have an unelected global government controlling every facet of your lives. And I just cannot stress enough how huge it is, and I'm going to the front page of prisonplanet.com right now, to have the leaked addendum to the Copenhagen Global Government Treaty, and to have that treaty openly state that it's meant to shut down the third world. And there's another crazy article. Guru of Science Czar Holdren called for doubling CO2 emissions. That's right. He said that large amounts of it should be pumped in the atmosphere to stop global freezing. See, they try to guess whether we're going into a cold or hot cycle. They all know as scientists that it's the sun driving most of it. They know it's going to get hot, it's going to get cold. They know it goes through cycles. So they try to bet and go, okay, we think it's about to get real cold. We'll scare everybody and say, give us global government and let us tax and run your lives. You're going to freeze to death. And then it starts getting hotter, and they go, oh, give us global government, let us tax and trace everything you're doing, or you're going to burn up, and the oceans are going to massively rise and flood you. And then it starts cooling off again, and they go, okay, any change in climate is unnatural. This is exactly what Aztec priests did, or what Babylonian priests did 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years ago. The priest, or the scammer class, the fraud class, the original magicians, the con artist, they'd throw some gunpowder in a fire, it would explode, and they'd say, I have magic. Give me the best food, the best hut, the best women. And then they would map the stars, and they knew that every certain amount of time, the sun would disappear in an eclipse, and the moon would disappear, and they would have a big ritual. And to make everyone supplicate and prove their worship of them, they would say, give me your firstborn. I'm going to cut their heart out. The gods demand it. And they really knew it was psychological warfare, just making people submit to them. And sometimes the people would say, we're not going to give you our children. And then they would go, okay. And an eclipse was coming up, and they'd say, ooga, booga, noonga, chunga. And then everybody would see the sun disappear, or the moon. And they'd go, bring it back. And he would say, do you give me and my family complete power? We are no longer just high priest. We are now the royal dynasty of the Toltec kingdom. They would say, and just, build me palaces then, or the sun won't come back. I am God. I am Gabugu. And that's all Al Gore's doing. He says, I am Bagubu. Give me billions. Give me Nobel Prizes. I will stop what plants breathe. The polar bears are dying. Oxygen is evil. Gas is evil. I will rule you. World government. I am your king. Public's,
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Hundreds of nations have fallen to tyranny in the last century alone. This is our last chance to not relive history.
As we're finishing off this agenda, they'll be pulling the rug from underneath Americans at home.
They have tremendous influence on our president and Congress, and they really are calling the shots.
I think it's incumbent